Welcome to TuxReadyAussie. In the service animal community, a drive-by pet is when a person pets a dog as they are walking past the team. This is rude. If you want to pet the dog, you should ask, but for service animals, you should be willing to accept the answer no. In fact, you should expect the answer no. TuxReadyAussie and I are minding our business as we are just wandering about.
Me either.
You're supposed to ask before you pet a dog.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Distractions include petting, talking to, and staring at the service dog team. Alright, TuxReadyAussie, we're here looking at things to buy and just minding our own business.
Oh, what a cute little puppy.
Please don't.
Why not?
He is a working dog, a service dog.
Oh, what does he help you with?
I don't really have to tell you that because you have no need to know that.
Okay, just trying to be friendly.
When talking to the handler, ignore the dog. This includes any topics that might be related to the dog, so make sure that you are talking to the handler about things that do not involve the dog. Alright, we're shopping down an aisle. Yep, there's some toys over there. I know that you want to see those. Oh, hi. The following skit may be an exaggerated depiction of what can happen, but approaching and touching a handler could distract either the handler or the dog and could cause an alert to be missed on either's behalf and cause a medical episode with extreme consequences. Oh, I saw this dog in the store. Let me go talk to them. Oh, look, they're busy shopping. Let me go get their attention. Hi. Good boy, TuxReadyAussie. Good boy for tolerating that. Service dogs are specifically trained to mitigate their handler's disability. Sometimes this involves the handler being on the ground and the service dog being positioned such that they are laying down next to or on top of the handler. If this is the case, do not distract the dog or disturb the handler as the dog is tasking. If the handler seems to be injured or the dog is acting out of control, you might want to contact the gatekeepers, the store employees. Otherwise, you should leave them alone to let the medical episode subside. So again, the dog could be laying on top of the handler, next to the handler, as in this scenario, in different positions. Or again, the dog could be trained to stand over. This is more of a protective posture. It could be seen as aggressive, but it is typically seen as a protective posture, which would then instigate potentially a flight or fright for the dog. But laying down, typically, if the dog does not need to be tasked and the handler is, but again, make sure that you carefully approach the dog to read its vest if it has one. Otherwise, try to read the situation or let someone at the store know what's going on if you do not have the skills and training for that. Not every dog is trained to lie down when a handler is having a medical episode on the ground. This can be because that is the task that they are trained to do, is to do a different action, or it could be because the dog is not trained to mitigate this particular medical episode. As such, it is still wise to give the dog space If the dog is acting up or if the handler needs medical attention, be sure to contact a store employee to determine what the next best steps are. One option that a dog could be doing is if they're standing over the owner, you do not necessarily want to, the dog may be more prone to be aggressive due to their handler being in a compensated or a compromised position. So in this case, you probably want to be as friendly as possible. This could include the opposite of blinking would be, or the opposite of staring at a dog would be slowly blinking your eyes. So if a dog is over over the handler, then you want to be more cautious that the dog, that this could be how the dog is trained to make the handler more obvious, but at the same time, this could also mean the dog's a little bit more aggressive or more prone to stranger danger. So be even more cautious when approaching this team. If you are a gatekeeper, store employee, or medical personnel, and you see someone down on the ground with a service animal, and they seem to need medical attention, such as they hit their head against something and are now bleeding, or some other similar thing that the dog is probably not trained to mitigate. As the video shows, you approach with caution. Try not to disturb the dog if it's since it should be tasking. Some service dogs have vests or capes on them that have zippered pockets that might have information for in case of emergency. They might have patches that say whether or not to call 911, depending on what their medical condition is. So if you are, if it is safe to do so, you may approach the handler to make sure that they are okay and do the following appropriate steps. But unless, of course, they are actively bleeding or showing any other signs that they could be in severe distress, it is best to make sure that the dog and handler have space to complete the medical episode. So if you see a person down with a dog next to them in public, you may not know what the crisis is as the dog decides to stand up. You may not know the behavior of the dog, so you want to make sure that you approach carefully and cautiously, even if the dog is not necessarily staying by the handler. It could be because the dog's not used to that scenario. If it is a service dog with a vest, you may want to look for anything that says do not call 911. Otherwise, if the dog is comfortable with it, you do want to check on the handler to see if they're still alive, see if you can get them. And if you are not medically trained, you may want to call 911, assuming that the service dog does not have a patch saying otherwise. But you may want to stay with the person if there's no one else around, or notify someone who's in charge of the store in order to check on the person, especially if they're a regular customer. If you see an unknown dog, your first instinct should be to give the dog space.